I was offered 100 grand to commit a murder.
So you accepted the offer?
Absolutely. I've lost count of the number of people I've stabbed. A hole in the neck, scarred faces, scars in different parts of their head. I opened up a guy's leg with a knife. He nearly died.
I hate where this is going.
As a criminal, if there was the death penalty, I should have been put to death.
Did you do it? Did you commit murder?
I hate what I've done.
What crimes have you been convicted of?
Many armed robberies, drug dealing, many violent crimes involving knife and gun, fraud, burglaries. Mainly, I kept getting into a lot of trouble for violence because I lived as a person that had nothing to lose. I grew up with skinhead gangs, with teddy boys, with mods. They hated us because of the colour of our skin.
Can I just ask you how old you were when you first used a knife?
I was late teens. I saw my father use a knife.
But when you started being violent towards other people?
Probably 8. I grew up in that sort of era, and that fueled some of my anger.
What was your incentive to wanting to be part of the gangs?
They chose me, I didn't choose them.
But you chose to accept. What did you get out of it?
Money and a better way of life to some extent. The gangs were aware of my violent reputation. I was approached by a member that operated in one of the big cities. It felt good that I was needed and I could live this life. I got drugs on tap and money. I was offered 100 grand to commit a murder. The people involved, very wealthy gentlemen, multi-millionaires, with agreements with each other. 100k was a lot of money to me. I liked nice clothes, I liked my drugs, I lived the party life, and so I spent heavily. My drive for doing this job was the money.
Did you do it? Did you commit murder?
I was about to, but I never actually got to make it go ahead.
How far along did you go before you decided that you didn't want to do it?
I didn't make that choice not to do it.
So you accepted the offer?
Absolutely. I was to pick an opportunity and shoot him and make sure 100% that he's dead.
So what happened? Why did they live?
They gave me another job. There was something very valuable to the organisation in a safe. I had to go back and tell them that I didn't get the contents of the safe that day. After the safe job went wrong, the organised crime gang were furious and they cut ties with me, so they pulled every job they had lined up for me.
And you were definitely going to do that. The only reason why you didn't do it is because they pulled the job from you.
That's the only reason I would have done it 100%. I was dreaming about it, I had prepared for it. He was going to die.
If you were to look back at that time, how you were like, I was dreaming of doing the job, but realistically, it's like taking someone's life away, and all we have is that, as a human, it's almost like, how do you feel about that now, like looking back?
Looking back now, I can feel happy I didn't take someone's life. But in the dark world I lived in, he was dead. I would have made sure, even if I couldn't shoot him, I would have gone up, I don't care. I would have stabbed him up in his neck and chest and made sure.
Have you ever killed anyone?
No, but some people nearly died at my hands.
Have you left anybody with lifelong injuries?
Yes.
Like what?
A hole in the neck, scarred faces, scars in different parts of their head, their leg. I opened up a guy's leg with a knife. He's got a permanent scar there. He nearly died. A lot of the stabbings could have been fatal. Someone who was supposed to do an armed robbery with me ripped me off some money. I went to talk to them about it. I pulled out a pilot survival knife, which is like a mini Rambo knife. I stuck it in his neck. It went through his mouth, through his tonsils, and nearly come out the other side of his head. I felt it was justice.
It's a shocking reality to hear about this much detail.
Do you know how many people that you've sort of hospitalised?
I couldn't count, but a lot of
If you were to
people.
estimate, like, rough.
There could be 50 or 60.
So do you think it's purely by luck that you're not a murderer?
Absolutely. Or the grace of God that these people survived. I did some horrific, violent crimes that would normally have cost people their lives.
Do you feel any sort of remorse for that?
Yes, it was a different time. I was a different person. To me, I was an evil person for various reasons. My upbringing, it was very difficult. I suffered a lot of domestic violence at the hands of my family, and I suffered sexual abuse and rape. When I was raped, I found myself with a kill switch. It gave me a different edge for violence.
How can you be sure that nobody died?
I had people in my circles who watched the news, who looked out for me, can be sure that the people that suffered didn't die.
Why do you think it is that you can speak about this so sort of blasé now?
I'm a different person now, and I'm living a different life. Back in the dark world of gangs, violence, and those types of serious injuries are part of that world. People getting shot and stabbed. It's the world you join.
You think that door is closed and there wouldn't be any circumstances that could lead you back into it?
Buried. I've faced circumstances since coming away from that life and that world that would normally have made me flick the switch and cause serious harm or fatality. But I've made different choices.
Actually, I've been sitting here kind of torn because having spent some time with you and listening to you, I actually feel a lot of compassion towards you. But the seriousness of some of the things you've done may make other people may feel like you weren't punished enough. What would you say to them?
Well, if they think that I wasn't punished enough, I could agree. I would say that I should have been punished more.
How much time did you spend in prison?
I was in and out of prison for 21 years, and I did about 15 years of actual prison time. Last time I went to prison and wrote to the judge and told them to throw away the key. He said, I'm not giving you a life sentence. I don't think you really meant to do this. That was his words. And so instead of giving me a life sentence, he gave me 3 years.
Do you think that's right?
As a criminal, if there was the death penalty, I believe I should have been put to death. The help I've received has helped me to heal a lot. I think every day you have to make right choices. My therapy that I had eventually was like surgery, to be able to be vulnerable about my life and what I went through, to be able to remember but not feel the pain and suffer the torment that I used to suffer every day and night because of abuses.
What is your line of work now?
My line of work is rescuing children from gangs. It's my way of saying sorry, but saying sorry doesn't seem enough. And so I felt that if I could save other people from going down the same route as me, then that was a way of saying sorry.
Why is it that you wanted to speak today, and why are you wearing the mask? Like, what does it protect you from?
It's always good to share your story and I think being sincere. But wearing a mask, I suppose it allows you to talk about anything, speak more freely. I'm truly very sorry. I can't turn the clock back. I hate what I've done, but I can't get away from what I did.
That was difficult for me to hear. There was a moment when I was like, I caught myself not wanting to like challenge him too much because I'm like, he's gonna stab me in a minute here, right? I feel like the system failed him.
I mean, they did, but it doesn't make what he did right. I try to sympathise, and I do sympathise with him because he went through so much, he got raped, but then, God, some of the violence was like so violent. Like, it wasn't just like having a fight in a bar because you were just mad, it was like crazy.
When I was like, is he kind of getting a kick out of talking about it so much?
I don't think you did personally.
I did. I don't think that anymore.
I think anybody would be capable of murder in the right circumstance.
No, I don't agree. I don't have it in me. I don't think I could.
It's hard though to kind of just take you as a person with your life and or me and be like, would I do it? But then if you insert yourself into that reality and live it,
You don't know.
I mean, honestly, I would definitely.
Yeah.